7 o'clock. I'd like to take this opportunity to call order the Community Relations Committee special meeting for August 5th, 2020 at 7 p.m. I'll call the roll. Bill Soms. Present. Andrea Ingalls. Councilor Ingalls. Here. I'd like the record to show that Councilor Grattan and Councilor Davis is here, and Roxanne Marr is here, Administrative Assistant.
Councilor Sibilia is also here.
Oh, I didn't see it, Councilor Sibilia. Hello, I'm not there. Make sure there's nobody else on the hidden page. Bear with me.
And I don't know if maybe someone else can provide some official counsel on this. I personally typically include residents' names, but I know that not everybody does that at the subcommittee level, especially if the resident is not speaking. So just throwing it out there.
Okay. I'm open to including names. It's not an issue for me. So I'll note for the record that Rebecca Graydon is here, as is Mike Cherry. Bear with me as I write some stuff down. I know Roxanne is doing the heavy lifting. Want to start now with any citizen comments? Rebecca Graydon, please. State your address.
Rebecca Graydon, 42 Eagle Ridge Drive, Gales Ferry. In reviewing the packet for tonight, I see that you've already begun developing ideas for a mission statement, which is crucial to any organization. It helps to form the basis of any work that is done and should link to a strategic plan for future work. I appreciate the idea of civic education of residents to, quote, empower understanding of how local government works. I think that's very important, but I'm also looking for either goals or a mission statement that will include what learning and growth our elected officials will be doing. I strongly believe that the mayor, town council, and board of ed members need to learn about social justice, social responsibility, racism, bias, issues, and other kinds of topics like that. I would encourage this committee to include recommendations for education of town committee and commissions in social justice work as well. I understand that the mayor is in charge of town employees, but this committee can certainly recommend regular training of employees in issues around social justice. That should include the police department. Residents need to be made aware of the training that the employees receive and or be able to participate in themselves. I do have a curiosity question. There are several required documents regarding equal opportunity in housing and employment that are posted on our website. However, the document entitled Town of Ledger Compliance with Title VI of the Civil Rights Act of 1964 was last signed by Mayor John Rodolico on February 25th, 2015. Shouldn't this be reaffirmed every year? Thanks.
Thank you, Rebecca. Would you by chance have that in a written statement?
I do. I'll send it to Roxanne. Would you like the link to the Title VI website? Okay, I'll put it in the chat.
Thank you. Is there any other citizen comments? Seeing them, we'll go on to informational items. The community relations schedule. Schedule has been set. I think it was set by Memo. Roxanne, has that been posted? Was that posted?
Yeah, when you guys voted on it last week, I filed the memo with the clerk's office, so that's just there for your informational purposes, so the committee can print out their schedule.
Perfect, thank you. Is there a motion to approve the organizational meeting minutes of July 29, 2020? So moved.
So moved.
Is there a second? Second. Councilor Soms, second. Thank you. Motion by Councilor Ingalls, second by Councilor Soms. All in favor, signify by saying aye. Oh, we'll run a roll count. Councilor Ingalls?
Professor Ingalls was sorry.
Got school on my mind. Councilor Soms?
I want to be a professor.
Professor Professor Soms?
Yes.
And I vote aye. Motion carries. Minutes are approved. Now, the next order of business is discussion and possible action to draft the Community Relations Committee mission statement. I know we talked at the last meeting about coming together with our own ideas, and we kind of hash them out while they're at this meeting, and think about how we want to, what that mission statement will be. I have a mission statement I put together. I see that Professor Councilor Ingalls has a mission statement also, and Councilor Soms, do you have a version of a mission statement?
Well, as the person who suggested we should have one, yes, I do, but I didn't send it to you guys. I was going to share it on my screen, but maybe I can email it to Roxanne.
If you can share it on your screen, that'd be great. I don't think
Mike, just so you're aware, Mike, I saw yours before I sent Roxanne mine, so I just sent her some bullet points that were in my head, and I tried not to duplicate what you already had.
Good. Nope.
What if I would volunteer to be the scribe? What if I copy both of your mission statements, paste them into mine, and then I'll share the document?
I didn't catch that, Bill.
Oh, I was saying I would copy both of your mission statements and paste them into mine, and then I'll share the whole document. So
that sounds great.
Same thing.
Right.
Give me
Bill,
one.
you can share it on your screen so we can see you work on it live?
That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
Excellent. Thank you.
And we have another version also that's kind of a combination of some input from Councilor Ingalls. And when I put together, I think it's kind of a little common, they're brought together. And I don't know if you have that one, Roxanne.
I included my thoughts in the agenda packet.
Okay. Do you have that one, Bill? The one in the agenda packet has kind of a combination of the thoughts from both me and Councilor Ingalls.
So, is it in the agenda item itself?
Yeah.
Yep.
So I see the Washington mission statement, I see the Ingalls mission statement, and then I see the email from Roxanne, to Roxanne from Mike, mission statement, goals, 2 bullets, and then 3 sub.
Well, I have a combination of the two, but I'm not sure I could post it. I could probably show it to you.
Mike, where do you have a combo of the two?
It's a draft version of putting the two together.
In the agenda packet?
But I have this as an email.
Oh,
Oh, okay.
okay, so we don't have that.
Okay.
Why don't you email it to me, Mike? I'll put that in here too.
Let me get on my phone, and I will cut and paste it to you. Bear with me. I have to drop. How do I do this? I almost feel like I owe it my kid. She's a little bit better at it than I am.
Kids just are so great with technology. I remember
They are.
I remember when VCRs first came out. I used to have to get them to help me record stuff. That was a long time ago. And they still, no matter what technology the world comes up with, they seem to just pick it up like they're walking down the street.
Yes. I can't figure out where it's at. I will do this. I will send it to you.
Okay. So I'm combining things as we speak. I'll keep doing that, and I'll share. And as soon as I get that email, I'll add that in too.
Yes. Let's see. Bear with me, Bill. just I'll look. Sorry about this, everybody. Should pop up, but you should get it now. It's going into your counselor email address.
Yeah, I just heard it come in. Looks like it's a JPEG. Like,
oh, yeah, because it's in it. Oh God, you know what? It's in it as a picture, so you can't find it on my. I'm on a tablet and I'm trying to find it in a Word doc.
okay, take your time. Take your time. I'm still editing here, and I'm going to share momentarily. Roxanne, I can share, right?
Yeah, if you just go to the, it looks like a U with an arrow. Anybody can
Yep,
share.
I know how to do it. I just want to make sure I have permission.
Right, everyone can.
Okay, cool.
For some reason. I don't know where I got it now. Here we go. Let's see if I can send this to the. Try this one. A Word document? I'm crossing my fingers.
Okay.
Yes, it is.
Are you guys seeing my Word document?
No, it was up there, but now it went away.
Okay.
There it is. It's kind of small though, Bill.
Yeah, I'll fix it. That's the same or bigger or better?
That's a little better. It's still.
I can make it bigger.
You'll find the controls on the left of the share screen are available to each person to size it himself, I believe.
Yes, I can size on the iPad.
I'm going to make a bigger font for starters. Is that better?
Yes.
Okay.
Great having trifocals.
Okay, so this bottom here is what Mike just sent me. And it goes on down here. So let's start with that. You guys all see it? Let me do a page break. Hang on. See that okay?
Yep.
Yes. So, this is kind of like a conglomeration. And the goal, as you chance to read it, and I'll kind of then have to tell you what kind of thought process was that generated my original mission statement. Yeah. Everybody set?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, was trying to make was part of the verbiage being used to make sure there weren't any buzzwords. Trying to make sure that people who read it would be more. It was given the understanding that they're trying to be inclusive to everybody. I think it addresses the need for on the educational side by learning from what other people's experiences are, getting an understanding of that, and then we try to become aware of not just on the racial side, but there's other issues relative to, could be gender or whatever, that kind of play in this whole community relations issue, making sure that everybody feels inclusive and included and appreciated within the community, and then letting them know there's a place to go to have somebody hear their issue after they, let them know where they should go first. But if they don't think they've had an opportunity to have it fully vetted or fairly vetted, they have one last place they can go and talk to. Doesn't mean it's going to change what the original outcome was, but it'll put another set of eyes on it. It's kind of, don't want to be all inclusive, but the idea was to say to people, you have a place you can also go. There's people who are going to listen to you. That's just me thinking out the box.
Mm-hmm.
Councilor Soms, Councilor Ingalls, your take? That's just on this. This is the first run, so we got more to look at.
So I like the word redress in your original up here.
Yeah.
I like that word. Oh, that was me right here.
Agreed.
Okay.
The point of redress.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to suggest we take all the mission statements and put them all together and then look at them side by side on one page.
Yes.
So like take this one. Take Andra has thoughts.
Yeah, I didn't really craft mine in the format of a mission statement.
No, that's okay. I started out, I did bullets too. And then I finally did a vision and a mission. So let me grab those. And again, they are very raw thoughts. They're not cast in stone. I'm not bound to them either. Just top of mind stuff.
Yep.
Because this is being recorded, maybe someone might want to read each of them verbally so that, it's not just dead silence.
Yeah, good point. Okay. Yep. Mike,
You want to read them, Bill?
go ahead. No, you go
I'll
ahead.
read it. Okay. The first one is mission statement: to engage the community in an active listening of others' experiences and perspectives, foster meaningful dialogue to build awareness of racial and cultural justice through education, develop transformative ideas, and recommend solutions to the town council to redress institutional injustices in the town of Ledger, ensuring all people are welcome and treated with dignity. That's one run. Another is the Ledger Town Council's Community Relations Committee is a point of redress for residents encountering institutional injustices in the town. The committee is charged with forwarding recommendations to the town council that ensure all people are welcome and are treated with dignity. In addition, ensure that all people in Ledger are treated fairly, equally, and experience the same opportunities of quality of life. And vision: children don't have the prejudice. That's a vision. But the vision being the children don't have the prejudice that adults have developed. Prevent those prejudices from being created in the first place by sharing experiences. treated fairly, equally, and experience the same opportunities for quality of life. I like that. And so, looking at the first mission statement, does anybody possibly cultural justice and education trust is working in solutions to redress institutional justice in the town? So, is there a preference in verbiage on this? I tend to like one. The first one, I think the first and the second one are fairly the same, except for the fact I think it brings in parts of the third one, because I think it is about opportunities of quality of life. And I don't know if that's fully encompassed in the statement of ensuring all people are welcome and treated with dignity. I don't think that addresses that part of the mission, to ensure all people in Nigeria are treated fairly, equally, and experience the same opportunities for quality of life. I think that could be brought into the first one. Yep.
All right, let me do this. I'm going to get rid of the redundant mission. It's easier to read. The vision thing was a stream of consciousness thing. For me, it's more of a fact or a statement. I don't know that it's really a mission, so I'm going to pull it out for now.
Okay.
Andre, you okay with that?
Yeah.
I left it up above, so I'll take that out.
I think the third paragraph, it says ensure that all people in Nigeria are treated fairly, equally, and experience the same opportunities for quality of life. It needs to be included in the mission statement. Now, the only question I would have is, does it get too wordy by injecting it into the, Andre, Councilor Ingalls and Councilor Stoms, between 1 and 2, the first two, which is a preference? Or would you pull something out of one and put into the other, or vice versa?
I think I would start with paragraph 2 and put that in front of to engage the community in active listening.
I like that idea because it starts with a specific.
Yep.
Here's what it is. Here's what we're supposed to do. So let me move it.
Part of the challenge in my brain is that there are different institutions in play that that work together in creating opportunity. So, so for example, I always think about family first, always. And, the sad reality is, for a child that doesn't have a great home life, for whatever reason, other institutions need to come into play, but where's the wording I'm looking for? To ensure, we can, everybody is not going to always have the exact same experience. They're not always going to have the same opportunity.
Yeah.
Does that make sense? And then there's the other thing, like we knew from the start we wanted this committee to work hand in glove with the Board of Ed's sister committee. I'm not sure how we're going to make that work, but so much of this is what happens through the schools. So I don't want to. I guess my concern is. Sorry, I'm thinking out loud.
That's okay.
We have to suffer through this. I don't want to overstate what we can do. I want to commit to what we can do and do that well. But I don't want to overstate what this committee can do.
I agree. I think that's covering the goal side, in the sense of, you've got the mission statement, these are the goals, and in my opinion, the goals is a very short list initially, and if it grows later on, good, but in order to really vet something out, it's going to take time, so to have 15 things in a goal on a list for goals, I think is not doable. It's not real. It's not reasonable. I think it should be a short list. But I think the process of that should apply equally to each issue. So, like if you talk about the issue with people have concerns right now with the police, or they have concerns about social services, the mission statement should be able to get applied to both of those, regardless of what the goal is. Mission statement should be in support of whatever the goal is, or the goal should be in support of whatever the mission statement is.
Right. That.
So I think the mission statement can be pretty broad in a sense, and it's driven by what the goals are for the committee. Does that make sense?
Yep. Let's do this. Let's go get some of the other bullets.
Yep.
Because you're now talking about some of the bullets. So, take this out. Goals. Take these. And these. I'm going to make everything the same. So let's go back and, Andre, I think it was your point, this last part here isn't really said very well. Well, let's just for now say have access.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
To, and then come back to that. But here's where we get into what are we covering? Are we covering schools or not? I like this. These were the same ones that I had. Police, social services, and general staff. I think we've said in the past we want to, the Board of Ed has a whole project underway, so I don't think we should try and duplicate what they're doing, and they know how more about it than we do. And we know more, we hope, about social services and police and other staff services. So I think that's a good focus.
I think the three that you have there are right in the money because, just like you're saying, I think Andre had led to this. Councilor Ingles had alluded to this. The school is it's really a standalone unit. We can interact with them and see how they're doing what they're doing, but they really need to be able to do their thing because they're the best equipped to do it. They know what their issues are, and just need somebody really monitoring and seeing what they're doing, and maybe some of the things they do can play back into what we do. But I don't think we should be trying to resolve the Board of Education issues unless they've abdicated that ability.
Yeah, I agree. The first protest, the speakers all talked about what happened to them growing up in the school. The second one was more about the police. And so if we focus on the police and more recently you've heard about social services. If we focus on what the town does, Board of Ed focus on what they do, I think we'll have a clear line.
I agree. And you, Andra?
Okay.
Yeah, I agree. Agree.
So let's take out, I see some duplicates in here. I've got conduct workshops with citizens, and I saw the workshops right here. So let me get rid of this, workshops with citizens. Shared experiences, public workshops. I put in shared experiences because of a conversation I had with a person. I think it's very important that we do some things with the people that we're going to include in this project, and I'll be specific. I think we need to get to know the speakers at the first protest. I went up and introduced myself to 3 of them at the second protest. I want to, me personally, I'm speaking for myself, I want to include them, and I want to do things with them. And by do things, and this gets a little outside of what we're normally in the business, you know, we have public hearings, we have public meetings, but we don't have shared experiences. The closest thing we come to is a field trip, where if there's a development being planned, land use planning or planning and zoning will conduct a field walk where anybody can go, and it's out in the public. Everyone is welcome, but it's much less formal than a meeting. And in that conversation I was having with a person who was recommending things we could do, we're limited right now by the pandemic, but we could go somewhere with people, invite everyone, but go eat somewhere. Go eat outside somewhere. And invite the people that we want to come to that, and also make it open to the public for anybody else who wants to come too. So that's I'm going on too long, but that's what I meant by shared experience. The public discussion panels, workshops, we already said that. Identify if there are instances where policies, regulations are like or discriminatory. Up here, we've got identify where experiences may differ based on color, ethnicity, and gender. So let me put those 2 together because they're almost the same. Contain citizen concerns and possible solutions. So that's really important. That's gathering suggestions from citizens. Let's put that whole thing up here. Am I going too fast moving stuff around?
No, I'm reading it.
Okay. And then, Mike, these 3 bullets go with something that I just moved.
Well, it's really the educational part. So if people understand what the government services that are provided by the town, and like, I don't know a lot of the services, except for the stuff that kind of touches in my world, which is the road services, things of that nature. The social services side of it, back in the day, 15 years ago, we used to do parties and stuff and generate gifts and things and food, and we bring it up to the town. But I couldn't tell you that whole process now, or what available services there are, because if you're coming to the town for services and you don't think you're getting the services, maybe it's not that you're not getting the services, maybe it's the way we deliver the services, or something of that nature. So I don't understand the services the town delivers besides those which impact me, which goes back to the educational side, understanding what are those services, how does it get delivered by the town to the people in it, how is it distributed to the people, and what are those experiences people have with the service. And that's a lot.
Yeah. Okay. So 2 goes together with ABC, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
Let me move those up. And then understand the full range of services. right, I'm going to put numbers on these so we can identify what we're each talking about. Okay, so we're still looking for duplicates, right?
Yeah, so it's expensive about people. So this is okay.
Five and six are almost identical.
Yes. I think it's covered in the, go ahead.
5 and 6 are almost identical?
Yeah. But not quite.
Well, if you, and certification needs to be improved. Certification needs to be improved. Additional practices, policies, training, certifications, and certifications need to be improved. And to learn about and recommend better ways to deliver service. Unless 5 said about had an add-on to it about learning better ways to deliver services in the town, I think those are two separate issues.
Okay, I agree. Never mind what I said. I agree. They are different. I'll take it back. This is a not, correct? Not adjustable?
Correct.
So that's part of where we start. I'm going to move that up. I'm going to move these up.
I think we could combine 2 and 3.
Yeah.
Yes, I agree.
I thought about public discussion panels and workshops is that they have different goals. One is to generate some mutual understanding, and the other is to identify an action item that might fix something, heal something.
Yeah.
A workshop without a discussion seems dangerous, presumptuous, I don't know, useless.
Should I remove the word, Andra?
Remove. I would just combine it. So I think what I like about number 2 is that the phrasing about obtaining citizen concerns.
Yep.
Yeah.
So we already said workshops up here. So then what if we took workshops out of there? So we have workshops to obtain concerns, and then discussion panels to promote understanding.
Well, I think the workshop is a task. It's a task session. Maybe I'm playing semantics, but I think that the discussion panels should generate an understanding of concerns. The workshop would be to generate possible solutions.
Andre, I agree, Councilor Ingalls.
Okay.
The
So I'm
discussion
going to take it out. I'm going to take out the one that's highlighted. Only that one, right?
Okay.
Is that what
Yeah.
you're saying, Andra?
Yeah.
Okay.
I would are we putting these in a particular order because it would seem 3 would come before 2?
Correct. So then the workshops would be to generate possible solutions. Or obtaining citizen concerns in the discussion.
Yeah, I'm lost. Where are possible solutions? Is there a number on that?
Number 2. Item 2.
Number 2. Oh, yeah, I see. Okay. So are we saying 3 goes before that?
Yes.
Okay. I just got lost, sorry. Better?
Yes. And I would, for number 3, I would suggest editing it to read workshops to generate possible solutions.
I think the concerns come out during the public discussion.
Right. So if we want to add the concerns into number 2, I think that would be the place to fit it. Public discussion panels to, what was it? Hear concerns, comma, promote understanding. Yeah.
Okay.
Thanks, Bill.
We'd be here all night if I was doing this, Bill.
All right.
This one is really important. One of the kids said to me they are really frustrated understanding how to get involved in government and how to participate and be heard. That's exactly what they were saying.
No, it makes sense.
Yeah. We see it with adults who come, and they want to engage public comment, and it's their first time, and they're scared. They're scared of the process. So how much more is a student, it's not easy.
Under my response when they said that was to tell a story that I was on the town council for a year. I didn't get reelected, and I had something I wanted to say to the town council, so I appeared as a citizen. And when I spoke, I was shaking. I was so nervous. And these are people I knew.
Yeah.
It's very different when you're on the other side of that podium.
Yeah, I mean, I know, when it's somebody who's new and I can tell they're nervous, you've probably heard me try to say, we're just people, it's okay, we're just neighbors, but it's...
Yeah.
It's very tough.
Can I just say something? Years ago, the high school used to have a government class, and the kids were required to attend a certain number of town council and board of ed meetings, and Rebecca might remember this because we used to have an audience full of kids, and I think by requiring them to come to public meetings on a regular basis, I think would help them to understand how local government works and make them feel more comfortable being at a public meeting and possibly addressing a panel such as the council or the board of ed. But they no longer require that.
You would think so, Roxanne, but my experience was they weren't paying attention. Once in a while, a kid paid attention. The rest weren't.
Well,
But when they do feel engaged is when they, in those civic,
The civics in
high
action.
school civics. Yeah. Those kids they're engaged.
If I might add, Chairman, I agree with you, Bill. I found them terribly distracting because they were not listening. They were not paying attention, sadly. I mean, it's boring, let's face it.
Yeah,
They may have
it
been
is.
better off going to subcommittee meetings. They may have been better off. But it was terribly distracting, And I remember, I think it was the last meeting they attended, because I created a bit of a fuss. And Mike is shaking his head because he remembered. I would not sign one of the students' papers.
Yeah.
Because he was fooling around the whole time. He was texting the person next to him. It was just too distracting for the other people in the audience and for the council. And I think that was their last meeting. But I do agree that there could be some aspect of that could really work well. And so I do recognize what Roxanne is saying, but it had to be done a little bit differently.
Yeah, not to pile on, but when I sat on the Inland Wetland Commission, it didn't take very long for me to figure out the kids were coming there to get their hour and a half in, and a signature and get out. They were, most of them I'd say were zoned out and not committed to the issue, not really following what we were doing. It was they needed across the school, so they showed up, and they picked the date they knew we were going to run quick. So I give them credit for that. They're smart.
Yeah, agreed. Okay, so we were in shared experiences, then identify where the experiences may differ, identify where policy regulations are likely discriminatory, fix it. How about make recommendations to fix it?
That sounds nicer.
Yeah.
I was getting tired. Just fix it already.
Inform citizens about policy training.
Are you tweaking number 7, Bill?
I'm looking at number 7. No, I just did tweak number 7. I said make recommendations. You okay with that? Or you want to keep it fix it?
No, I don't see the change. Oh, there it is. Oh. My internet's a little sluggish.
So I'll undo it.
No, that was
That's
good.
what it said.
No, it was good. Make recommendations is better. You can take fix it out.
You take fix it out.
I like fixing.
Okay.
Okay.
Bob the Builder says leave it in.
I'll take it out.
I had a little bit of a lag, Bill, so when you took it out, I didn't know you took it out.
Yeah. Phone, because my ear died.
Are number 7 and number 9, could they be combined, or are they redundant? Identify practices, policies. Yeah.
Use of practice and policy recently. For improvement?
Yeah. I like the word practices to be included in number 7. Practices training. Actually, a lot of that.
So all these, put them up in 7?
I think so. What do you think, Mike?
No, it sounds good.
Practices, policy, regulations. That's why I wrote or the like, because I was going for all of that. The practices, the regulations,
I put it in the wrong place. Whoops, sorry. We'll put them all in there and then slim it down. How's that?
Okay.
Oh, God, I moved it. Hang on. Training certification. this is policies, training, certifications, procedures,
Regulations.
and regulations or the like are discriminatory. Okay.
I can't imagine this certification being discriminatory. Maybe the certifications need to, well, certifications are mentioned in 8, but I think the point here is to identify instances where our conduct in whatever fashion or vehicle, if it's discriminatory, we need to put our finger on it and make the change.
Yeah.
So the word is there.
So a certification can be discriminatory if it's not effective. In other words, if you can get a certification where you didn't really do anything, you didn't change, then it's discriminatory.
Okay.
What I'm thinking about is something I posted on my own page about paying the woman who wrote not white privilege. What's the other one? Anyway, she was paid $22,000 for 3.5 hours training so people could get certified.
Yeah. That was an expensive ride.
Okay.
I don't know what's going on here. Yeah, somehow I'm really screwing this up. Let me undo some stuff. I'm just going to say et cetera for now before we all pass out. So 9 is what's wrong.
Right. We took 9 and inserted it into 7, so 9 can probably go.
Okay, good. Thank you. So the thought on number 9, I wrote this one, was that, okay, we find there are some problems. We also communicate what we do in number 8, but then maybe there are better ways to do some things, so we go out and find out how other towns, we always say we'll be happy to steal shamelessly and borrow from other towns rather than start from scratch. So that was kind of what was behind this.
That sounds good. Just why reinvent the wheel?
Yeah, right. Could maybe combine 9 and 10, although they are different. White fragility was what I was trying to think. I think that's the book she wrote. And then there's white privilege. But I was thinking I'm going to buy, at least I'm going to buy a couple books to read them. Number 11.
I think that's addressed.
That's what I was going to say. I think we've got it already. Take it out.
Public discussion to inform ourselves about the experience of the residents of local government works and how they can be heard involved contact.
It's actually not. No, it's different.
Yeah. Look, I'm agreeing with you, Bill.
Could we combine it though? They're I think they're moving toward the same goal.
Yeah.
How about something like civic education to describe the full range of government services and empower resident understanding, etc.
So let's do this first. I like describe. I want to move it right up into number 1. Inform ourselves about the experiences of all people receiving services in Ledyard. How would we not do number 11 if we did number 1?
You have to do number 11.
Wait.
Yeah.
Say that again, Bill. I'm not following you.
I'm saying combine 11 with 1. So we're going to inform ourselves about what people are experiencing in Ledyard, people receiving services. And 11, we say understand the full range of government services. I think we could incorporate that in 1.
I agree.
Let me do it, and you'll see what I'm saying.
Okay.
All right?
To the full range of government services provided by the town. Ourselves with experience of all people receiving services. I don't know if they're mutually, I think we can link them, but I think they have 2 distinct things they do differently. I think you need the first line before you can perform the second line. Got to understand.
I agree. And in that case, I would change the word understanding to describe.
Hey, if I put you guys on speaker, let me know if the quality is too bad. How's that sound?
You're fine.
Okay.
Okay.
I don't know, Andre, about describe versus understand, because to describe the full range of services, part of it is educational in the sense of being able to understand exactly how what the services we have and how we provide those services, and then that gives you the ability to understand the experiences that people have getting the services, because then you can take how their experience is and compare it to how the service is supposed to be delivered and see if they match up right.
Maybe.
Okay, so I guess my disconnect is if this was intended to create understanding for residents who are not familiar with what the services are, or if it's meant to help town leaders.
That's my take. It's a little selfish on my part. So which I can do outside of this to get a full understanding of what those services are, and then be able to describe it back, being able to describe the full range of services, but until I have a full understanding of those services in question, to take somebody who has an experience that be negative or positive and be able to kind of understand, okay, you had a negative experience, but it may have been a negative experience for you, but unfortunately it might have been the appropriate experience. Or, yeah, you had a negative experience. It shouldn't have happened that way because the way the services supposed to get provided are in this fashion. And you didn't get provided the services in that fashion. So I guess it's more for an understanding for the counselors. What do you guys think?
Okay. All right. Now I see how Bill reworded it, and that makes sense.
Because if somebody does come to us down the road on the redress part of it, it'd be great to be able to have a general understanding of how a service is provided. We don't have to know it off the top of our heads or anything, but
right. Right. I would say though that we need to be careful because none of us are going to fully understand the nuances of every community service that we offer, and that's just an area where we can really, we can end up hurting somebody.
I would agree. I don't think the idea is that we're experts on the issue, but have a familiarity enough to say, okay, wait a second. Just based on some of the common processes they use, that doesn't seem like it should have happened. So then you go get more information, and you do other things with that information. For me, it's trying to learn about understanding. I couldn't even tell you half the services you probably have in town.
Right.
So part of it's my own self-fulfilling thing, trying to understand what we do.
Right. I think we definitely need to understand the full range of services and know how to best direct people.
Yes.
So are we going to make a change here? Or is it good? Tell me what you write.
For now, I think it's good. So let me understand before we go any further. Are we hoping to polish this tonight? Are we hoping to get it in some semblance of order so that we can polish it another time? What's the goal?
I think we sleep on it a bit.
Okay, that works for me.
I'm thinking we take it home and read it, wordsmith it some more, and send it back to each other.
Okay,
Yep.
that's better for me.
Okay.
I need to sleep on it.
Yeah.
So let me just read the whole thing out loud. But Mike, do you want to, for the benefit of anybody who's listening and doesn't see?
I'll read it. Under methods, 1, understand and be able to describe the full range of government services provided by the town. 2, inform ourselves about the experiences of all people receiving services in Ledger. 3, public discussion panels to hear concerns, promote understanding, awareness, and healing. 4, workshops to generate possible solutions not addressable through education. 5, civic education to empower residents' understanding of how local government works and how they can be heard and involved. 6, conduct shared experiences / field trips with citizens who experience Ledger differently. 7, identify where those experiences may differ based on color, ethnicity, and gender. 8, identify if there are instances where practices, policies, training, certifications, and procedures, regulations, or the like are discriminatory and make recommendations for improvement. 9, to inform citizens about practices, policies, training, certifications, procedures, etc. currently in place in town government. 10, learn about the recommended better ways to deliver services in the town of Ledger. 11, thank you, conduct research by reading available material on those topics. And 12, understanding the full range of people experiences, both good and bad, as it relates to town government functions and services, relative to A, police, B, social services, and C, staff treatment. And that concludes the list. Cool. And the plan is to kind of let this marinate and review it in our heads and go back through this. And as you said earlier, Councilor Soms, kind of wordsmith it, the things we don't like, and come back and for a final polish.
I'm going to delete all of this because I copied it into the second page. There we are. So I'll send this to each of you and copy Roxanne.
Thank you.
Oh, thank you.
So I would just recommend that if we're wrapping up for the night, the next time we meet in a couple weeks, I would like to get some concrete goals identified and even possibly throw out a first date for some sort of public panel.
Yes.
reiterate at this meeting something I said at the last one, which is, oh, Mike, you said it earlier, really. You know, we need to choose our goals, choose achievable goals for the year. We're not going to tackle 12 big things. You know, if we could create some understanding around these 3 items, I think we will have had a really productive year. And I'm thinking in terms of a year.
Yeah.
I agree.
So on that point, I'm going to say what many people say at meetings like this. We're going to say, you just said that they have to be measurable and achievable, and I'm going to say, how will we know when we're successful?
Public feedback.
Huh?
I said public feedback.
I would consider it a win if people better understood where they could go to be heard. I think that is part of the reason so much happens on social media is because people don't really know who they can talk to, and they're frustrated, and that's accessible.
Yes.
So I would consider it a win if and maybe for a while it is this committee until we get some education go. I don't know, but I think I would see that as a win.
Andre, I agree with you. I think that if the general populace in town is able to believe they have a place, they have a group of people that's looking at something relatively specifically at their concerns, and that goes right back to what you're saying, that someone's trying to address and, you know, we may not be able to solve the issue, because let's face it, not all the things are going to be solvable, but the things that we can correct or fix or make better, and we make some improvement, people will see that and appreciate that and know that the town is doing their best effort to make it so this place is very inclusive, okay? And I think it's some tweaks here and there that are going to make that happen.
So I have a little different take, and that is that people do have a place to be heard, and it's called Facebook.
Well, that's my point, though.
I know. But the problem is, there's so many examples of people say, hey, there's a guy running around my neighborhood, looks suspicious, and they're posting it on Facebook, but they're not calling the police. So do you want to be heard and just have a lot of people hear you, or do you want to do something about it? And those are two very different things.
I agree.
So
That's true. So I was assuming that people who want to be heard, and you're right to delineate. You're absolutely right. But I guess my point was the assumption that if someone has an issue that they don't just want to vent, they really want to work towards some sort of resolution, or you know, it's a very serious grievance. It's never going to get resolved on social media. So they need to know the correct vehicle. So I think there is a lot of education that needs to happen. So yeah, I'm going to have to think about that though more, Bill. Like what would it look like if we're successful?
I think success is going to be really measured by if we have people who are comfortable coming in front and putting out their grievances, you know, and then seeing that it won't be, not everybody's grievance is going to get resolved, not everybody is going to get what they want, but as long as people see that that actions are being taken place and they think they're being treated fairly, and I think you'll see that when people say, you know what, I'm going to give my piece and be able to explain. I think people want, if you have a problem, people want you to explain why it's their problem and not somebody else's problem. So if I come to the town as a citizen and say, hey, I've got a problem on my road, I think the town should take care of it, someone should be able to explain to them why it's not the town's problem, or how the town's going to fix the problem. And I use the road because everybody, if you got a pothole, it's easy to wrap your hands around a pothole. You know, like, it's a town pothole, town road, why doesn't the town fix it? You know, but other things relative to, if I go for a service, why is it when I go for a service, this happens, while somebody else goes to the service, this happens? You know, so it's gonna be a moving target to some degree, and it's gonna take a while to kind of dial that in. But it's gonna require, as you said, Andre, about getting people and to go to the place they need to go to get somebody who can actually act on their concern. Facebook is a great place to go to complain about a problem, but it's never a place to go to resolve a problem.
Could I ask a question?
Yeah.
I forwarded to...
Linda, I can barely hear you.
Okay, let me move my mic. How's that?
That's better, thank you.
Okay, sorry. I did forward to your committee the list of demands from a Facebook group, and I don't know how you want to deal with those. I mean, it's a little unusual to receive correspondence from a Facebook group when you really don't know who it's from, in terms of, is the group even mostly from Ledyard? So I don't know how you want to handle it. There's some interesting things in there that probably could be dealt with. For instance, a lot of the issues in there really just require education for whoever, and again, I don't know who wrote it, but would require some education, and I think that would be helpful. I've tried to do that a little bit with a couple of the students that I met with. There were things in there that would require buy-in from union contracts, some things that are not even under the purview of the council, like all the education ones and that type of thing. So I'm not really sure how you want to deal with this. You know, it's always been the council's policy not to respond to letters that are unsigned, but these are sort of signed, but the demands themselves came from a group, and it's just a little out of the norm. But again, I think there's some education that can be done there. If you look at the list of demands and you see how many of them really, what's the word I'm looking for? I don't want to say not achievable, because that's very negative, but you know what I'm saying. They're
Yeah. So Linda, I think that at least one of the things in our 12 bullets that we have right now sort of speak to that. It's about education. And we said in our organizational meeting, or I said at least, that I think about to educate. And so we talk here in number 9, to inform citizens about practices, policies, training, certification, procedures that are currently in place. That partially addresses those. And then other things, identify if there are instances, inform ourselves about the experiences of people. Those are the things that I think we need to do to address those demands. And maybe what we then do, or are in the process of doing, is during these discussion panels, is talk about it. Talk about the demand.
Mm-hmm. Well, I think they'll flesh out once we get through this portion of it. I think they're gonna flesh out anyway. But so granted they have a list of demands. My take on it is we kind of set the agenda to some degree on the things we can tackle, and how those demands fit into what we tackle. We finish them up, we kill them off that way, excuse the expression. We knock them off, we address them that way, and then we kind of go through everybody's issues when we do through the workshop, so no one, they'll have the opportunity to have somebody come to the workshop, and these may be replicas or repeats of what comes up during the workshop discussions as we go through the educational part.
I think address is the right word. I do think we should address them.
Well, I'm not saying not address them. What I'm saying is when we start the process, you go back to number one, and you look at how we start the process.
Yep.
And then then they come in and inform ourselves about experiences of people receiving services, and then public discussion. I think that's when their part comes in.
I agree.
So I'm not saying push it off at all. I'm just saying it comes in a process. What do you think, Andra?
I agree. I agree they need to be addressed, and I agree that they will be addressed as we move through this process.
Correct. I think we're done then with that. Does anybody have anything else? Let's talk about, do we want to go through and, we'll come back at the next session and talk and kind of nail down the mission statement. Do we want to jump ahead at all 2 weeks after that and set up a possible work discussion where people can come in? Because that gives us at least a month out for people to schedule they want to come in, but we have to make an arrangement for how we're going to do that. It's going to be through this lovely video conferencing process.
I feel, Mike, like we might need one more out after that, and then also Bill and I both have vacations coming up, so I'm not sure what that means for meeting dates.
Gotcha. So what we'll do is we'll wait till the next. Now you guys, I think you guys are off end of the month.
I'm off for 2 weeks, and then Andra's off. I think there's a week where we're both here, right, Andra? I come up on the 21st.
Yes, then there's a week that we're both here. So when is our next meeting? Today's what, the 6th? So Bill, you're not going to be here in 2 weeks.
Correct.
Right.
So he's not here.
Mike and I would be a quorum, but I don't want to do that.
I don't want to do that either. So, and you're off on the 26th, Andra?
I'm off the week of Labor Day, which is late this year. I think Labor Day is like this Monday the 7th. So that means I'm out September 9th.
So we have 2 weeks that we're all here. The week of the 24th of August and the week of the 31st.
Well, if you met on August 26th is a council meeting, and we have a public hearing at 6:30, and then a council meeting at 7. And then the following week on Wednesday would be September the 2nd, which is a finance meeting. Labor Day is the following week.
So what if we met on August 2nd after finance?
September 2nd?
September 2nd, yeah.
That works. It works for me. It works for both your schedules.
Yeah.
Andra?
I think that works for me.
Okay, so there.
Admin's not. We don't have. Perhaps we don't have admin that night.
Actually, Mary and I talked, and she was going to move it into August the 19th, thinking that that would have been a finance night, so that you wouldn't have to go in. And we had talked about this at the last meeting. That was supposed to be community services, finance, and admin all on the 19th. But if Bill, are you going to is finance going to meet on the 19th?
No.
Okay.
No, that's why I thought we had to meet tonight, because I won't shouldn't say no. They can meet, and if we have to, they should.
Okay.
Audra and Tom, but I won't be able to join.
All right. Well, I'll check with Marcia and see what kind of business they have.
Okay.
So, but you guys don't want to meet for community services on the 19th because Bill's not going to be here.
My preference would have all three people here.
Right. So then that means your next meeting wouldn't be until September the 2nd.
Yep. I'm okay with that.
Okay.
Okay.
I'd rather get it right and have everybody's input.
I think also there are things we can do in the meantime. I think we can socialize some of what we've put together so far in terms of what we're actually going to do. Like, the ideas of workshops and maybe a shared experience. Getting some books, reading them. I think there's a lot we can do.
Yes.
And
So
then,
between the educational part for self-education and putting together, doing the goals and putting up the mission statement.
oh, and Mary's on, so maybe,
Yes, I'm here.
yeah,
Andra,
do you
is
guys want
August
to,
19th good for you for admin?
Yes.
okay.
Okay.
So that's what I was gonna say, unless you guys want to move it to before the council meeting on the 26th. Because it's gonna be a special meeting anyway, so it's whatever works for you guys. But it would have to be like at, 5:30.
Well, I think we were going to have admin on the 19th because that was going to be a finance committee meeting, and Andra would be around for both.
Right,
That works for me.
okay. Got it.
So the plan is we will meet on the September 2nd. Yep. At
Yes.
7 o'clock or 6:30? 6 o'clock?
Let me say 6.
6 o'clock works for everybody?
Well, yes, it works for me, but the memo, just so you know, the memo that went to the clerk said that our regular meeting schedule is going to be the first and third Wednesdays at 6:30.
That's right. I thought it was 6:30.
I have the clerk's memo open
Right,
in front of me.
right, that's what you guys voted on.
6:30 works. Might as well have it be a regular meeting.
Yep.
Right.
So, at this point then, is there any other business? Seeing none?
Motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn. So moved. Second?
Second.
Thank you.
Roxanne,
Yes.
will you send out a copy of their, whatever they talked about tonight? I could not see anything because on my screen it's all practically a straight line. I could just hear what you said but not see it in writing.
Right. Yeah, when Bill sends it to me, I can forward a copy to you. But it's just a working.
Yes, please.
It's just a working draft. They haven't voted on anything yet.
Oh, right, yeah.
Okay.
That's fine.
Well, thank you, everybody.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you. Good night, everyone.
Good night.
Take care.
Good night.